And we are live.
Yay!
We
Welcome,
are live
welcome,
with
welcome.
another episode of Tea Talk. Let me make sure.
With Gina and MJ. How's that? Awesome. How are you today?
Jay and
How are you
Gina.
today? Let's
We
ring that
sound
bell. Let's
yes,
ring
yes,
that bell.
yes.
It's a special day, so let's play some music. Let's ring that
Oh,
bell. Let's bring
absolutely.
in some harmony in here. All right, we're talking, since we're talking teas and we're
Yep.
talking
Let me
sacred
go.
chakra,
Yep.
let's play some sacred chakra. Yes.
Mm. Hi, Larissa.
Yay! Hey, Louisa, Mama, how are you? I go to comments. Here
Some
we
of us have
go.
been playing. It is 2:22:22,
Yes.
and some of us have been playing on that day. Oh, what I didn't tell you, MJ, was that this was actually finished at 2:22 p.m. Eastern time. So I started it like at 1:40, putting everything together, and at 2:22 I was finished.
That is super amazing. Look at that.
Yeah.
That is such blessings. Yeah, such great energy. I
So,
love that. And overall, what it was again, because now that we're live, so everybody knows what you did.
let me show you. Let me keep it up there. All right. So this is my latest perfume made with all essential oils, and I was just telling MJ it reminds me of the ocean, the Caribbean Sea, to be frank. And it's made with 22 essential oils, and each essential oil was put in either with 2 drops, 5 drops, or 10 drops, because two, 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 two adds up to 10. And then there are 5 twos. So, you got to bring in that prosperity energy in there. So that's in there. So, but it's made with 22 essential oils, and it was completed at 2:22 p.m. Eastern time.
Hey,
Yeah.
Michelle.
So just
Yeah,
playing around with that energy today. And then
that's
I had a
beautiful.
little bit left over, so I put it into this white candle, and I'm going to
Yes.
top it off with some herbs later and light that baby up.
That's beautiful, Gina. I already
Yes.
had my 222 here, so my candle is lit already behind me and
Hmm.
it is decorated and we added some herbs. So it's amazing how, but let's talk about this 222 for a second because people could
Hmm.
be looking at like, what are they talking about? So what is the 222 portal? It's a musical day. So everything, you go on the internet and what does it say? It says this could be the biggest portal of your life. The energy flowing will push your ascension to even greater states of consciousness. The light codes coming into the planet in the next few days are quite literally upgrading your DNA, expecting to begin remembering past lives, ancient teachings. The activation is going to bring you back a flood of memories, remembering like never before. This is a mass awakening on a grand scale for the planet Earth. Your healing, your psychics, your clairs, your channeling abilities are all coming back online. Remember, you can do more than you think you can. So don't limit yourself with the human mind. Now is the time to stretch all aspects of your being, accept and receive who you are. This is what this happy full moon, this portal is. This is a portal about finding yourself, finding your energy, finding who you are. This is about you. This isn't about anyone else. This is your inception. Basically, it's an upgrade. To, to the point, it is an upgrade. You're going to take a moment to recognize it, to recognize yourself, who you are today, everything you've gotten to this point, and to be more magical in yourself. All right. And this is also a love energy. So it's like a va va boom because we have that Venus and planets in the air as well. And with that love energy, it's bringing in passion. So it's about twin flame, that higher love frequency. But let's not be too hasty when it comes to twin flames, because twin flame energy could be the most amazing thing or it could be the most chaotic thing. So choose wisely when it comes to twin flame
Yeah.
energy. But that's what this energy is. It's about a transformation for yourself and bringing yourself back into alignment. And it's just such beautiful energy. I say we all just take a moment and stop, recognize it for what it is, put our hands in our heart, take a deep breath. I receive. And that's basically it, guys. If you do that, you've done enough. I want you to know. So that's what I got. What do you have for 222?
You pretty much said it all. I always pick, let's put it in perspective here. For 22, the next time this happens, I will be either a very, 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 very old person walking around on this planet, or I won't be on this planet. I will have transition. So the idea is to really work with that energy. I mean, 22 is not going to be around in our lifetime anymore. I mean, our great grandchildren perhaps may experience this energy. So I wanted to really work with there's this love energy is what I was getting from it, from all of the the talk that I've heard, all of the research I've done. But one of the things that really hit me as well, as far as this particular portal, is the awakening of all of the clairs. And that was a big thing for me. And that is why, I don't know if you've noticed, this is blue, because blue tansy was one of the oils that called out to me saying, you have to put me in here. I'm like, you're not pink, because or red, or you're not necessarily associated with love, which was the huge thing for me. But blue tansy called out to me, and I realized that it was that opening, that awakening, the energy. So that's why I really wanted to make sure that that was included. So for me, this particular portal is kind of, wake up, you know what I mean? So
Absolutely,
to keep this family friendly.
And when you talk about love, I want you to know, and passion, because as I posted by today, the card, I post a daily blog, and on my blog, the card was really sexy, sensual card. And somebody said, that's not my life right now. But the card, what is sexy and sensual? How about creativity? Creating passion for yourself and loving yourself. That's it. You know what? Loving yourself is the most. And when is the last time you brought passion into your own life? You don't need to ask someone else, an other being, to provide you with that. You need that. So it's time to look inside yourself and what drives you, what makes you happy, what makes you feel sexy. And it's not for anyone else, guys. This portal is for you to recognize who you are and step into that power. And also,
and we're all creative. We're all creative beings.
Yes.
So we really need to, and sometimes a lot of us, we say that we're not creative people, but God designed where to go with that. And ironically, of the tea that we're going to talk about today, it's for your sacred area, your creativity area. It's for the what we call the sacral chakra. It's for the solar plexus chakra, to really get your creativity flowing again. So on that note, you want to just jump into the tea?
Yeah, before we start, I just want to say one last thing about the 2-2 energy and this, because you mentioned, I opened up I have Kyle Gray. He has the angel numbers, and his 222 number today says his message from the angels is, you have power and gifts that will light up the world. Focus on the highest good. You were born to shine. Amazing.
And let me continue. If you're not sure about what your gifts are, get out a sheet of paper, get yourself a pen, and just start writing down things that you're good at, things that you love to do, things that other people come to you and say, can you help me with this? You will find out that you have so many gifts, but what are you doing with them? So everybody is creative. We just all have different gifts. And a lot of the times what we tend to do is we tend to look at another person and say, oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, I wish I could do that. Without looking inside of us and realizing we have so many gifts within ourselves. If we only just take the time to, you know, to bring those out. Okay.
Or take away the doubt. A lot of people, the doubt, like I can't, no one sees me. Oh my God, they're gonna look at me. I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
What I get a lot is, oh my God, I can't go on my personal page because everybody's gonna see me. So what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this why you're doing this? You're doing this to be seen, to put yourself out there, to take yourself to the next level. It is your time. The number, follow the twos. The 222 is a very powerful year in itself. I keep saying it. I'll scream it from the mountaintops. 222. It's time. This is your year. It's time to put yourself on your page because you want your light on. I keep telling everyone's got a lighthouse. Put your light on. So that way your light beams and whoever's meant for you is going to show up in your life. But you got to do it in your own backyard. Can't be hopping onto other people's backyard thinking that, oh, I can get my fame here. No, it's got to be your own backyard. And that's what this energy is about, being in your own backyard doing that. Hey, Cass, how are you, love? All right,
we got
let's get to
got
the
a few
tea.
people. We got Larissa on. We have Michelle, Karen.
Hello, Michelle.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. All right, let's talk about this amazing tea now.
All right, tea time. All right, so let me show you. I did bring the actual blend. Let me see if I can get it in there. There it is. Okay.
There it is.
So that is the tea blend that we're working with today. It has, let me get to that page. So black tea, cloves, orange peel, dried peaches or dehydrated peaches, cinnamon, allspice, and safflower. So here I am dumping it all over my laptop. Very good.
It's gonna smell really good.
That is the tea. And let me show you what it looks like once you've. So this is the color that it comes out.
See? It kind of looks like that. See, guys?
Looks like amber.
Yep.
Now you are welcome to add, you know, if you want to add honey or agave, whatever, but I just drink it straight. And I'm waiting for all of the little pieces to kind of sink to the bottom. Maybe we can do, if I'm finished with it in time, we do some, what do you call it? I never remember this term when you're reading tea leaves.
Oh, nice.
Whatever that term is called. Yeah, it is really good, Karen. It really is good. So we're going to start with the cloves. We talked about cinnamon last week, so I decided let's just go ahead and start talking about the cloves as the first ingredient. Cloves is actually the dried flower buds of the tree called, and I'm going to try to not butcher the name, Sigigrium aromaticum. It's the name of a tree, and that's where the cloves come from. It's the dried flower buds from that tree, and they're very, very aromatic. So one time there were actually wars for the monopoly on cloves, and clove production and distribution. Imagine having a war over this, you know, this one herb. It's been used as a spice and medicine for thousands of years in India as well as in China. In Ayurvedic medicine, it was used for tooth pain, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on. And it's also used for halitosis. If you certain toothpaste will actually have clove essential oil in there. And there is a tooth powder that I made several years ago. And clove, when I was first diagnosed with lupus and I was having some issues with my teeth, I made a particular powder and had the clove powder in there to kind of help with my oral health. In Chinese medicine, it is supposed to have.
Hold on. Did you grind that? Hold on. Before that was good information right there. Did you grind up the clove and add that? Is that how you did that? Really nice.
Yes,
okay.
Everything. It's a very, very fine powder, the tooth powder that I made. So everything is ground really, really fine, and then it's sifted to make sure you get all of the bigger pieces out. Yes, before you. And if you have a toothpaste you normally would work with, you can simply just dip, put your toothpaste on your brush and then just dip it into the tooth powder and you work from there. But at the time, I was having a lot of issues with oral ulcers and bleeding gums and that sort of thing. So that tooth powder was literally my toothpaste. I worked with that every single day, several times a day. So, but clove is very good for oral health. In Chinese medicine, cloves is actually considered to be an aphrodisiac. Since we're talking about, love being part of the energy of today, thought I'd just throw that in there. The clove can be applied to minor cuts for healing. So if you would just take the clove and just grind it up, and I would put it inside of a piece of cloth, wet, and then you'd put it onto the cut. It's small cuts, not anything huge. Or you can use the essential oil, but the essential oil is considered to be a hot oil as well, so you have to dilute it. And the essential oil is also numbing. It has a natural numbing effect when it's applied to your skin. Cheryl says, "Hi, sorry I'm late." Oh no, you're not late. You're right on time. We just started.
Always, always.
Cloves are also antiseptic, antibacterial, antiviral, all of the antiparasitic, all of those things. So this tea that you're looking at is going to be really good for the immune system. And we'll talk about some of the other ingredients that have very, very similar properties as well. The clove tea has been used to relieve congestion. You'd have to drink a lot of the clove tea to kind of relieve the congestion, and you'd probably end up numbing your mouth because it does have that numbing effect. So I don't recommend it a lot for congestion. I would just use the eucalyptus or eucalyptus oil, just rub. But clove tea historically has been used for that. The clove essential oil is thought to relieve headaches as well. It's thought to relieve gas, reduce stretch marks. Who knew?
Wow.
It's also been used as a bug repellent. And I know about the bug repellent because it is one of the ingredients in my bug spray. So it's
Mine
very
too.
effective when it comes to as a bug repellent. It is, however, loaded with lots of nutrients. These include potassium, calcium, sodium, magnesium, vitamin E, folic acid, niacin, phosphorus, iron, zinc, vitamins A, and vitamin K. This is a powerhouse just by itself. It does help with boosting digestion. So it's really good for your digestive system. Fried cloves, not just the dried, but fried cloves is said to stop vomiting. It does have an anesthetic effect, like I mentioned before. So I think that what it does, it kind of stops that that trigger or that wave, whenever someone is throwing up. So it kind of alleviates that. So,
Awesome.
but what is done is they take the cloves and it's just gently fried, and then the person who is vomiting a lot, I mean, it has to be like nonstop vomiting, right? So the fried cloves is given to the person, you chew it up, and then it helps to stop that. It is effective, considered to be effective against ulcers. And I think, again, it's because of that analgesic effect. It is antimicrobial, like I mentioned, all of the antis, antimicrobial against staph infection, as well as E. coli. And these are all scientifically proven. I am not throwing out anything that is like considered to be folklore. These are all based on scientific studies, okay? And you can find all of the research to back it up. It's
Absolutely.
like I mentioned, it's also antibacterial. It's helpful in regulating and controlling your blood sugar. So if you're someone with diabetes, working with cloves will help with that. But, and I always throw this caveat in there, if you are already taking diabetes medication, make sure you check with your doctor first. Okay.
All the time.
Now, I'm not saying that, a little bit of clove in your tea, that's not going to cause that big of a difference. But if you're drinking clove tea 3 times a day, 7 days a week, yes, you're going to want to be very careful with that. Make sure you check with your doctor.
Absolutely.
Right. So clove can also be helpful in preserving bone density. So people with osteoporosis, clove tea is helpful with that. And that's scientifically proven again. It does boost immunity because it increases your white blood cell count. And it helps to protect the liver against cirrhosis as well as fatty liver. It is considered to be an anti-inflammatory because of the presence of an ingredient called eugenol. And the eugenol is also found in quite a few other herbs. but the eugenol in the cloves helps to reduce pain, because of it stimulates your pain receptors into to blocking. So, and I mentioned that it is an analgesic, and it does have that anesthetic effect. So when you put clove essential oil onto your tongue, you will notice your tongue will immediately go numb. And the same thing will happen if you have any kind of dental pain, or
Right.
oral pain. Clove essential oil is very, very good for that. However, again, if you know that you have some issue going on in your mouth, don't keep numbing it with the clove. Go and get it checked out. The
Yes,
clove
please.
is good for numbing the pain, but make sure that you are addressing the issue. Okay.
Excellent.
Um, the clove also helps with oral health, like I mentioned, with gum disease, gingivitis, toothaches, bad breath. Again, side effects, I did mention that it is very numbing. So you want, especially when it comes to the essential oil, 1 drop goes a very long way. So do not overdoing it can actually be toxic. So if you put too much essential oil into your mouth, you can actually, create toxicity in your body. So that is one side effect of clove essential oil. Do not overdo it. Like I said, 1 drop goes a very long way. It does stimulate blood circulation, and it can actually help with weight loss because it does trigger the metabolic activity. So you'd have to drink a lot of clove tea. So
And
again,
you can't
we're
do that.
looking at very, 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 very minor, effects on but it does trigger metabolic activity, as well as regulating body temperature. So for people who may be going through like menopause, drinking some clove tea may actually help to kind of ease up on the hot flashes and that sort of thing. And if again, if you didn't see, if you were not here, this is the tea that we're working with today. That's the color of it once it's allowed to seep for a few minutes. Over to you, MJ. That was all about clove.
That was amazing. The medicinal properties in clove are amazing. I didn't know a couple of them. I didn't know you could fry it, and didn't know you can ground it up and make a toothpaste. But wow, I love that. Thank you for that. So for clove on the spiritual side, clove is a masculine energy. It's an element of fire. So what talking about, we're talking about it stops. It's protection. It's wealth. It's friendship. It actually helps stop gossip. So if you're burning some sage, you can burn some. You can drink some. You can pour it in your house, put it on the corners. So when people come in, you can draw a line in the sand. So that way, when you come in the doorway, if people come in, it stops them from gossiping. It repels that energy. It is good for you use it in exorcisms as well to repel negative energy. All right. It drives away hostile and negativity forces. It's spiritually vibes and it purifies the area. So not only does it take away, it purifies the area. It attracts the opposite sex. So yes, this is a spicy kind of thing. And it brings comfort to the bereaving. So that's what clove is. And then for me, when I looked at clove reminded me of amber for this tea. And why? Because amber brings wisdom and balance and patience to the wearer. Amber draws away that negative energy from the body and from the area. So it gives you that calmness. And that's for me what clove was. So for me, clove is amber. And those are the spiritual aspects of clove. Back to you, Gina. What we're talking about next.
Well, I wanted to mention something because you mentioned that clove has been used for people who are grieving. And I am a very intuitive person. I work with teas very intuitively. And the day that I pulled out this particular tea, and I mentioned to MJ, this is what we're going to do for the next one. Last week was a very rough week for me, and MJ can attest to that because I did reach out to her over the back in December 26th. I lost someone who was very close to me, someone I was taking care of in hospice care. 3 months prior to that, her mom passed away. Both of them passed away from cancer. The mom was 95, the daughter was 68. So within 3 months, I had lost 4 people, And then earlier in the year, I'd lost my youngest son's grandma. So all of that death within a short period of time, but those two ladies, it really got to me. And I'd reached out to, I'd already decided this was a tea, but I had no idea that clove had anything to do with grieving. It was just the tea that said, okay, this is what you're going to work with. And I've been drinking this tea for the last 2 days or 2 or 3 days, ever since I I reached out to MJ, and then she turned me over to a friend of hers, and I booked the appointment to talk to her. And I've actually been doing a lot of journaling and a lot of praying and a lot of meditating surrounding whether this is going to be, this, I think this is a gift of mine. It's a gift that I'm kind of struggling with, to be honest. But it's one that I am prayerfully and meditatively really working on. So I am going to be meeting with someone about this, in addition to getting the grief counseling that's needed, but also working to see if this is something I'm supposed to be doing on a more full-time basis. So I just thought I'd mention that. I do work with teas very, very intuitively, and this is the one that called to me. And I had no idea, because MJ is she's the expert when it comes to the metaphysical parts of the herbs and the spiritual parts of the herbs. So when she mentioned that, I was like, okay, now I know why this tea called my name and said, this is what you need. All right, so the next ingredient is allspice. And I don't think we've ever talked about allspice in any of these, in any of the herbs.
We had allspice once. We did. We had allspice back.
Did? Okay.
When we talked
I
about
could remember if allspice was one of them. All right, so we'll go through the medicinal benefits again anyway. So the allspice is actually the dried fruit of the pimento tree. And funny enough, when I was growing up in Jamaica, we call this pimento. It wasn't until years later when I realized this was it's actual allspice, but the name of the tree was pimento. So the allspice is the dried, and I was supposed to bring a couple. It's actually the dried fruit of the pimento tree, and they look like a larger version of peppercorns. You know what fresh pepper looks like before it's ground up. The pimento looks like a larger version of a peppercorn. It has a little bit of a stem attached to it. But I grew up calling it pimento. It kind of is a mixture. It smells like a mixture of cinnamon, clove, and nutmeg. If you put those 3 spices together, blend them a little bit of each together, that's what pimento smells like. Right? It is anti-inflammatory. It does again have analgesic properties, and it helps with things like arthritis, gout, muscle pain, that sort of thing. It is really good for your digestive system because, again, this has eugenol. Like I mentioned before, the clove also has eugenol, which helps with things like diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, constipation, those type of issues. It is also an immune booster because of all of the antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, all of those properties. Allspice is really, really good when it comes to E. coli, and it's said to help to neutralize any kind of bacteria before it actually enters your body. So if you're eating food and you sprinkle a little bit of allspice on there, if that food has any kind of bacteria, it actually helps to neutralize it before it goes into your body. It's a powerful antioxidant. It neutralizes free radicals because of the high levels of vitamin C that's in there, as well as vitamin A. Again, it is really good for oral health. So this particular tea, you could, make sure you don't have any sugar or honey. You could use it as a mouthwash because it's just really good for your oral health. Antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiseptic, all of those things. So it's not, if you do it with just the allspice is not very pleasant on its own. Mixed in with other things, it's really good. But this particular tea, if you don't add in the dried peaches, this would be really good as a mouthwash on its own. So you might want to think about that when you're making your teas. try to think about, yes, it's good to drink, but think about other ways that you can utilize the blend as well, especially if you're making, if you're making loose teas like this, right? I tend to have a
Can I?
lot of loose tea because I create a lot of my tea blends.
Yeah, I'm gonna add that
Cheryl
for this
says,
tea. What? Hold on. For this tea, I made a mistake. I added ginger to my ingredients. I want you to know. So my tea is a lot stronger than the tea that she has
mhm,
because I added an extra ingredients, but the health
mhm,
benefits are still there. It's just a little has a little extra flavor to it
exactly.
on my side. Okay,
And
so you can do
and
that
you didn't
if
make
you
a
can mess
mistake.
up.
It's just something, yours
You
meant to
add it
have ginger
right.
in it,
Right. So
right?
I want you to know that if you have ginger, you add something, it's not oops. It is a oops, but you know what? Maybe you needed that.
Right, exactly, exactly. Cheryl says, Gina, of course you're meant to work with teas. Your teas taste so good and are so healing. Trust your gut. Beautiful. Thank you, Cheryl. Yes, I do make a lot of teas. Okay, so the allspice also is said can help with circulation because of the high levels of iron and copper, and those two are essential components of red blood cells. So of course, this having the allspice in there is going to help with your blood circulation. It's considered to be heart healthy, of course, because if it's helping with your blood circulation, it's going to be helping with your heart as well. And it does have a lot of potassium in there, which your heart and your body needs in order to be heart healthy. What potassium does, it relaxes the tension in the cardiovascular system. It causes an increase in blood flow, reducing the strain on the arteries and blood vessels, which then, of course, helps with your heart health. Now, if you have or been diagnosed with things like colitis, ulcerative colitis, or you may have gastric ulcers, you have to be really careful in working with allspice because it can cause adverse reactions. So make sure that if you are working with allspice, to double check with your doctor first to make sure that he's aware that you're working with this and that it's not going to affect. I'm sure again. You have to be taking a lot of these herbs in order to really cause adverse effects. But I just like to say, make sure you check with your doctor if you have any kind of, any of these conditions. Back to you.
Allspice for me, well, it was once again that we're talking about another masculine herb, and it's also fire, and it also coordinates with the planet Mars. So that's that lot of energy. So for me, it was all about money and luck, and it draws in healing. Back in the day, the sailors used to go and they would add allspice into their pockets and into like a satchel because they were looking for treasures, and it helped find treasures. So they would use it and tuck it into their pockets in little satchels so that it helped them back. Pirates helped them find the treasures. I found that very interesting. I was like, oh my goodness.
Huh.
So that's what it was
We may,
used
we, we
for.
may have to start putting some allspice into all of our little sachets.
Stuff that in there, put it in your ears. So for me, allspice, once again, we were looking for crystals that were all sacral because this is more of a sacral. We're talking sacral tea for today. So for me, it was aventurine. Aventurine is a stone of prosperity. All right. Specifically yellow aventurine. All right. Because it is a sacral focus and it's manifesting. It senses ease in the body, increases the level of abundance and prosperity, and enhances clarity and creativity. So imagine sticking aventurine into you, and you get that same feeling as I'm going to go hunt for treasures. I'm going to go find it. It gives you that creative energy to keep going through. And that's what the tea and the spice is.
Interesting. I learned something today. All right. So the next one we're going to talk about is orange peel. And I know we've talked about orange peel before, but listen, if anything, after this, you will know never throw away your orange peel from here on out. Save it, dry it, use it in your teas. Even if it's just the orange peel tea, save your orange peel. I do want to do a caveat. Make sure your oranges are Organic, because the last thing you want to do is be, saving orange peels that's loaded with toxins. So just make sure that you have your organic orange peel. All right, so orange peel is loaded with fiber, vitamin C, folic acid, vitamin B6, calcium, copper, magnesium. Now you know why you don't throw away your orange peel. And funny enough, the orange peel itself contains more of these nutrients than the actual fruit. So if you eat the rind, the orange peel itself, that's a lot better for you than just eating the inside of the fruit. So make sure that you're saving your orange peel, your organic orange peels. It does support healthy heart. It contains something called hesperidin, which is a flavonoid that helps to maintain blood pressure as well as cholesterol. It is a natural antihistamine. And there are people who literally just eat the orange rind. You peel your orange and you take the rind and you just put it in your mouth and you eat it. It's a little hard to chew, but that is just really, really good for you. And it's a natural antihistamine. So if you have issues with allergies, just chewing on some orange peel. I would do the fresh. The dried one would be a little hard to chew, even though the dried orange peel is actually better than the fresh. There are a lot of herbs that when you dehydrate them, they become so potent and they're better in the dried state. But for the orange peel, I would say just if you can handle the dried orange peel, then go ahead. But to me, the fresh orange peel is a lot easier to chew. Orange peel has been known to slow down the growth of tumors, and people who consume, scientifically proven, people who consume orange peels on a regular basis have been shown scientifically to have fewer chances of being diagnosed with lung cancer, skin cancer, those type of things, than those who do not eat it on a regular basis. And there are articles and the research is there to back it up. So you guys can, go down that rabbit hole. But I just wanted to make sure that you're aware there are studies that have been done on orange peel and cancer research. Orange peel also helps with weight loss by boosting your metabolism. It does improve digestion because of all of the fiber that's in there. And again, orange peel has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties. And this one, I'm not suggesting that you all go out and test this out, but orange peel is actually really good for hangovers. Yeah. So you take the orange peel, you boil it for about 15 to 20 minutes after you've had a little bit too much to drink and you're at that tipsy state, and it actually helps with a hangover. Who knew? Orange peels also help with bad breath. So this tea, if you've got anything going on orally, this tea is really, really good for that. There's not enough clove in there that's going to numb your mouth, but you will get some oral benefits from that. Again, orange peels are immune boosting because it's loaded with vitamin C, and it's going to help with colds and flus. It's helpful in treating skin conditions like acne, dark circles, and also helps to brighten your skin. I don't know if you're familiar. I want to say maybe 10, 15 years ago, there was a trend with skincare where everybody was putting vitamin C into their products. And that's because they had, for some reason, I guess back then, they had just discovered that vitamin C was really good for brightening your skin. The only caveat I'd say with that is if you are going to use a product that has a lot of vitamin C or things like orange and lemon, make sure you use some sunscreen, because if you're constantly using that on your skin, it can make you a little bit photosensitive, which means that you can develop like dark spots. To me, you can develop it faster on your skin if you're not using sunscreen. Yes, so yes, it's really good for your skin, but can also make you photosensitive. And photosensitive has to do with the sun, Right. Orange peel can help with lung function because it helps to remove the excess phlegm that you might have from your lungs. And so if you have any kind of breathing issues like bronchitis, drinking some orange peel tea can actually help with that. And I have to throw this in here. Orange marmalade. I know it's loaded with sugar, but it is so good. So that's one way of working with your orange peel. If you're saving orange peels and you want to just do something fun with them, make some marmalade. Karen is asking, would orange peel tea still work as an antihistamine? Um, I'm pretty sure it would. I'm sure it would. The thing is, when sometimes when you boil your herbs, some of the what I would do if you're making orange peel tea, make sure you put a covering on there so that all of those essential oils go back into the pot and mix in with your tea. And do that with all of your teas that you're brewing anyway, because when that steam is coming up, your essential oils from the herbs are floating along with it. So make sure your tea that you're steeping is always covered. So if your essential oils are going back into your pot, into your cup of tea, then the antihistamine benefits should still be in there. That's because you're getting the antihistamine benefits from the essential oils that are in the orange peel. I hope that makes sense. All right. So yes, on the back to the marmalade, I happen to love orange marmalade, but I know it's loaded with sugar. Another way I like to work with the orange peel is mixing it with ginger, chop up ginger with honey, and you just let that sit for about 4 to 6 weeks, and all of that flavor gets into the honey, that raw honey, and then you have yourself some flavored honey.
It's amazing. It's so good. You're making me hungry. That is some great stuff. So spiritually, now that we found out all the medicinal benefits of orange, let's talk about orange on the spiritual side. Orange is once again is another masculine energy. It comes from the sun, all right? And it's love, divination, it's money, it's strength and quest. All right. This is funny because I love where Gina shared the story where it helped with you stew it back in the days. Okay, we're talking in medieval times. They would stew it and they would drink it while the other people would not drink it. And then they would go to war with the people knowing that they were not drunk and the other people were drunk. Or they would drink it before so they didn't get drunk and they were able to battle. It was something sneaky that they always did back in the day. It was amazing to even research that. Was like, seriously? Oh my goodness. So yeah, and then you can add some dry peels. In witchcraft, in spirituality, orange peels are everything. It is one of the top things to have. It is to put it at the front door. Yep, is to put it at the door. It is to keep dry peels. Seeds are added to love satchels. They're designed for wedding bliss. Back in when people used to get wedding, they would hang oranges. That was the decoration of choice because of all the prosperity they would bring in. All right. If you add it to a bath back in the day, they would add it to the bath so they would seem more attractive to their other half. All right. And then the Chinese consider it as a symbol as luck and good fortune, which is amazing. And then the other cool thing that I found out about it is that you can use the seeds as a pendulum. So you're going to eat the orange and you're going to count the seeds. The even seeds are a no, and the odd seeds are a yes to your question. So say you have a question and the only thing you have is in front of you is an orange. Well, you're going to get all those medicinal benefits from the orange, and then you're going to eat it, ask your question, and place those seeds out. Once again, if there's even seeds, the answer is nope, don't do it. And if it's odd, go for it. So that's what you do. And you add you add all the orange to prosperity spells and love spells. They are 100% excellent for me. So for me, orange is called, all right, orange for me equals citrine. And why it equals citrine? Because citrine is the merchant stone. It is for magical abilities. It is to track wealth in many ways. All right. It helps abundance. It brings in love. So for me, it was citrine that I considered to be the stone for this crystal, for this tea.
Mhm.
And that's what I got for you for that one.
And you probably noticed that a lot of the crystals that we're mentioning, they have yellow, orange, red, right? Because we're talking about solar plexus, sacral chakra area, right?
Sacral chakra.
And a lot of this particular herb that I'm going to be talking about, safflower, is that reddish color as well. All right, so the next one, yes, is safflower. And again, the Latin term for this, and I'm Carthamus tinctorius. That is the Latin word for safflower. And this particular herb dates back to 3500 BC. So this has been used for thousands and thousands of years. The Chinese have used it for centuries. The Native Americans have also used it. And at one time, it was only harvested to be a colorant. So they would harvest it and use it to dye their fabrics or whatever they needed to dye for. But and certain foods as well. Things like rice. I don't know. I think there's some rice today where they use, in some cases, it's saffron, but a lot of the times, because saffron is so expensive, they would use a substitute. The substitute would be safflower, right? But saffron, when you're doing certain rices, the saffron to me is much better. But safflower would be a perfect substitute if you don't have the saffron. So only in recent years did the medicinal and the health benefits actually have been discovered I want to say in the West, because like I said, over in China, they've been using this stuff for centuries. It's most famous for being heart healthy, because it actually prevents hardening of the arteries. That's what it's known for. So it does help to lower cholesterol because of the presence of what's called the linoleic acid that's in there, which contributes to reducing cholesterol in your body. And according to one particular study done at the Ohio State University, it raised the good cholesterol by 14% while lowering the bad cholesterol. So this is one of the reasons why safflower is considered to be the herb that prevents hardening of the arteries. It helps to improve circulation, has been used to treat poor circulation as well as blood clots. And this is another caveat. If you are hemophiliac, or you're taking any kind of medication that helps to like blood thinners, then again, safflower is also a natural blood thinner. So you have to be very careful when working with this. Don't go out drinking cups and cups of safflower tea, because it's going to it's going to interact. So be very, very careful there when you're working with the safflower. It is considered to be an anti-inflammatory, like all of the others that we mentioned, and it can help with chronic inflammation of the joints. So things like arthritis, gout, those are two specific things that safflower has been worked with, because it stimulates the production of hydrochloric acid, which helps in eliminating the uric acid in the body. So that's how it kind of eliminates the inflammation, because it helps to promote the hydrochloric acid, that we do need in our bodies. We got lots of it in our stomach. Well, a lot of us have it in our stomach, but if you think you're low on hydrochloric acid, you can get that tested. And if you know that you're low, then you can also get supplements which will help with this. So people who've been diagnosed with any kind of autoimmune conditions, typically one of the things that's recommended is that they take a hydrochloric, an HCl supplement, because it does help with the chronic inflammation in the body. It also, like I said, it's an anti-inflammatory, so it's going to help with muscle pain as well, because it's going to reduce the lactic acid that's in your muscles. It is great as a detox. I mean, if it's eliminating all of these, the lactic acid and those other things. So it's going to be great as a detox. It helps to raise your body temperature, which then helps your body to kind of eliminate what it needs to get rid of, all of the toxins that it needs to get rid of. It also helps to manage blood sugar levels. So this is like, again, just like a few of the other herbs that were mentioned, helps with your blood sugar levels. So if that is a concern, this is a perfect tea. But again, make sure that you're not drinking loads of it, especially if you're taking medication that's already working on your blood sugar levels. This is also a tea that can contribute to hair growth. So if you've got, issues with, I mean, mine is shaved. It's not an issue of, losing hair. But if you do have those concerns, which is a concern within the autoimmune community, this particular tea blend would be really good for that. You can literally add this to your shampoo. You could do this as a hair wash. Just probably soak it in a towel and just apply to your hair or the areas where if you're having any kind of balding issues, this would be great for those sort of concerns. Again, I mentioned the caveat, natural blood thinner. So be very careful if you're on any kind of blood thinners already. And if you are pregnant, make sure you work with safflower under the care of a doctor, the watchful eye of a doctor. It's not that you can't take it, it's just that it can cause some issues, not anything major, but you do want to make sure that your doctor is aware that you are taking or working with safflower. Back to you, MJ.
Oh, you're good, because there's so many good things about this herb that I was just like fascinated. I'm like, I don't really use it a lot, honestly. So to me, doing the research on it, like, why don't I use this herb so much? So what I found out on the spiritual side, this is a masculine energy. Once again, we're dealing with a lot of masculine energy today. It is the sun and Mars, and it is fire, that Leo energy. So in spirituality, this is funny because this one is love, it's healing, it's an aphrodisiac. This one is let's get it on. This is happiness. This is wind raising. This is lust, strength, and psychic power. Look at all that in one herb. So let's start. I have a lot on this one. So if you infuse this herb, drunks are able, and you drink it, you are able to foresee the future. It is said back in the day, the fortune tellers would just purely drink saffron tea so they can foresee the future. All right. And then it dispels melanarchy. So it's melancholy. Well, melancholy. Sorry, I'm saying the wrong word. Sorry. It dispels melancholy in the people. So if you're feeling down, it is said that if you drink this tea, that you can die from excess happiness because it just fills your system with joy. Now, this story is the coolest. It was said that two teenagers were practicing disc throwing. An awkward throw from Hermides hit Crocus on the head, wounding the loyal family friend. Shaken, the wind god transformed his soulless body into a beautiful purple plant, and the 3 drops of blood that ran from the wound into the 3 red carcasses of that plant. And according to the legend and the history, according to this enchanted ancient Greek mythology, the saffron was created based on that. So it was actually created from a god that lost his life, and it was made by Hermides. So I found
So
that
make sure
quite
we're not
interesting.
confusing the two. Okay, I want to make sure we're not confusing the two. There is saffron and then there's safflower.
Right.
Okay, so make sure we're not confusing the two. Cheryl says, I'm going to need some safflower. Thanks so much for this wealth of information. And
Yeah,
ironically enough,
absolutely.
I work with safflower quite a bit in quite a few teas that I make. I do have a Sacral Chakra blend, and safflower is in there along with annatto seed, because those give that that deep orange reddish color. So that's in there. But yeah, I'm learning so much whenever Whenever you jump
I'm
on
not
with
done yet.
the,
This was not done yet. This one was a big one. That's why I said
oh,
we went
oh my
all over
gosh, okay.
in Samaria. This was used as their love aphrodisiac. Oh, in Sumerian times, that's what they used.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's go to Egypt. Okay, in Egypt, they used it to increase the feeling of lust and enhance sexual pleasure. It was a part, like I said, we're going to a different part of the world, and they used it for a different ability. Cleopatra used it to make her sexual encounters more memorable. She would add it to her water and to her drinks. She would spice it up. She is said to have
Mm-hmm.
burned saffron, and it helps with the focus and empowering concentration and clarity, and it uplifts the spirit. So it's something that you can burn, and it actually can help you. All right. Now we're going to go to Persian time. In Persia, they would actually infuse their sails with saffron and raise the wind, and it would carry them and heal them at the same time on the ships across the land, and that you can smell them coming. It was their way to introduce themselves to another lands. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, this was amazing, amazing, this one. And for me, because of all the qualities of all that I got and the aphrodisiac, I brought it back to the one we discussed last week. This is more like a Shiva Lang. This is a Shiva, and I have a Shiva eye,
Shivalingam,
which is
yeah.
not the, yep. I have a Shiva eye, and it's not the same thing as a Shiva Linga, but it's the same kind of philosophy. When that's
Mm-hmm.
what this herb was for me, in all sense of it. I kept looking for other ones, and it's sacral. Who go figure?
Yeah, sacral chakra. I think this is probably the most powerful herb. I mean, the most powerful blend we've talked about today, and
I
we're
believe so
talking
because
about
it
it
went
on
around the
220,
world.
222.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And it was around the world. Like I found it one culture and this culture, but so
Mm-hmm.
many different cultures used it for so many things. I was shocked. I was like shocked.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so now we're going to go back to coming to the last ingredient, familiar one. Not the last ingredient. But we're going to talk a little bit about one that we've spoken about before, cinnamon. Most people have cinnamon in your pantry, right? It's been used for thousands and thousands of years in herbal medicine, and was once considered to be more valuable than gold, right? So it's loaded with antioxidants that slow down the aging process. It strengthens your immune system. Again, we've seen this as a recurring property in a lot of the ingredients in this tea, right? So this tea is going to be really good for your digestive system, for your immune system, because it's going to help to boost your immune system. It protects your body from viruses. We're talking about the cinnamon again. It's antibacterial. It's got antiviral properties. It's rich in polyphenols, which are known to prevent chronic disease. So this tea blend, um, on a medicinal level as well as a spiritual level, is a powerhouse. Okay. So if you want to, we're going to list and I think I already have the ingredients listed, so you can go out and you can make this yourself and kind of play around with it. But this is a powerhouse. It is cinnamon is anti-inflammatory, does help with relieving pain. It's said to help reduce heart disease risk by lowering your cholesterol, as well as lowering your blood pressure and improving circulation, because cinnamon is considered to be a hot spice, and the oil we know is hot as well. So you have to make sure that if you're working with the essential oil, always dilute with a carrier oil. Otherwise, the cinnamon essential oil will burn your skin. Cinnamon can even help to repair heart tissue. And again, I'm throwing these things out here. They're all scientifically based, they're research based, so you can go ahead and look it up, and you will find that studies have been done and these have been proven. So if you've had a heart attack or a stroke, working with cinnamon can actually help to repair the damaged tissue. Cinnamon again lowers your blood sugar levels, and it is considered to be the best spice for people who've been diagnosed with diabetes. And again, if you are taking medication for diabetes, always consult your doctor, because the cinnamon does help to stabilize your blood sugar. And if you're on medication that does the same thing, it might lower your blood sugar a little bit too much, and we don't want that. Cinnamon is also really good for oral hygiene, and I know that you probably have seen toothpaste out there that does have that cinnamon, the cinnamon flavor added to it, because it's really good for oral health. Helps to freshen your breath as well, and is considered to be antibacterial. All of the antis. It protects your skin from infection, but again, it's a hot oil, so always dilute, dilute, dilute. Okay, even if you're working with the powder, you want to make sure that you do mix it with an oil that's going to dilute, and I wouldn't apply it directly to your skin. Always wrap it into something and then put it onto your skin, because you're still going to get the benefits that way. It helps to reduce swelling. So if you have any kind of swelling that's unbroken, you do not want to apply cinnamon to broken skin. Too much. It's going definitely going to burn. That's going to hurt. So don't apply it to broken skin. But if you do have swelling and the skin is not broken, you can work with the essential oil or with the cinnamon powder that's mixed with a carrier oil, some kind of oil, and apply it to the swelling, and it will help that to go down. It does help to promote skin cell growth, and that's going to be useful in any kind of anti-aging skincare. So you'll actually find cinnamon in a lot of the anti-aging skincare out there, because it helps to prevent wrinkles, helps with acne, helps with rosacea if you have that issue. And when it comes to the big C, we know that word, not the one that's floating around for the last 2 years, the other big C. There is something in cinnamon called cinnamaldehyde, which has been proven to block tumor growth, to prevent tumor growth, and to actually shrink tumor growth. So it's been studied to be very helpful with that particular, those particular instances. Cinnamon also helps with focus and helping to keep your brain sharp. And it says it may also help to defend against concerns like Alzheimer's, the forgetting, that sort of thing, any kind of cognitive decline. Again, cinnamon can help with gastrointestinal issues. And if you have anything like ulcers, cinnamon, drinking some cinnamon tea can actually help to soothe the ulcers that you may be, or the symptoms from the ulcers that you may be experiencing. Cinnamon is also a natural sweetener. So if you're a coffee drinker, sprinkle some sugar. Take that back. I take that back. Sprinkle some cinnamon. Sprinkle some cinnamon, not sugar, not sugar. Sprinkle some cinnamon on top of your coffee and stir that in. It's a natural sweetener, and it just takes your coffee to a whole other level. Okay, we're talking about elevated tea. Your coffee will be elevated when you sprinkle some cinnamon in there, because it's a natural sweetener. And one of the things I want you to do is research cinnamon and what happens when it's combined with raw honey. I didn't bring that with me this time, but I did show on the last video, which we'll tag with this, the cinnamon and honey. When the two of them get together, they creates all kinds of benefits. So do your research into creamed cinnamon and honey, raw honey. Okay, because a lot of the stuff that you find out there is not raw, but raw honey is best, and it has all of the benefits in there. Back to you, MJ.
That's amazing. I want to try it. That's the second time you said that, and it kind of rings a bell to me. It's making my mouth water, that cinnamon with honey. So I'm definitely gonna try that. So here, cinnamon, once again, cinnamon is the multi-part. It is one of the top in spirituality. It sprinkles on everything. It is financial prosperity. It is success. It is manifestation. It is protection. It is love, lust. You name it, it's vitality. That is what, the Hebrews in ancient times would use cinnamon wreaths as a part of their holy rituals, and they would decorate all the Roman temples with cinnamon. So when they would have rituals, you would smell it for miles. You knew it was ritual time. All right. And then the Egyptians used cinnamon in the mummification, and it helped keep away the scabs. So the scabs wouldn't attack right away. It actually helped it last a lot longer. All right. It helps you raise your vibe. It aids in your healing. It stimulates your clear gifts to activate when you're working and you're smelling it. When you're in actual meditation and ritual, you light some cinnamon, it's going to activate you. All right. It has that perfection vibe. So for me, because it stimulates and it helps, and it helps with a low libido, and it unblocks your sacral chakra and embraces your sexuality. For me, tiger's eye was what I got for cinnamon this time, because tiger's eye does the same qualities just like it does cinnamon. So I wanted you to know tiger's eye for me was what I felt was related, especially when it came to this tea. So that's what I got for it.
All right, so let's go. The last ingredient. We're going to talk about peaches. And you guys can do your own little research on black tea, right? I mean, and the funny thing is, you don't even have to add in black tea to this. If you take the black tea out and just put in all of the other ingredients, you have an amazing tea on its own. You don't necessarily have to add the black tea in here, even though it has its own benefits. But let's talk about peaches. Peaches thought to have originated in China over 8,000 years ago. This fruit has been around for a long time. So it's thought to have originated in China 8,000 years ago, or more than 8,000 years ago. It's related to plums, it's related to apricot, cherries, and almonds. I didn't know about the cherries and almonds part, but yeah, they're all related. It's called drupes. They're called drupes or stone fruit. And the reason why they call it the stone fruit is because it's a fruit that is, the fruit is surrounding a hard shell that houses the seed on the inside. So that's why it's called a stone fruit, right? So when you eat a peach, you have that gigantic peach bit in the middle, but when you crack that open, on the inside is actually a fruit. And the same thing with apricots. There's that hard seed, or that hard shell. You crack the shell open and the seed is on the inside of that. So they're called stone fruits. And the seeds are all edible, just so you know, okay? The peach, the seeds on the inside, those are edible. Peaches are packed with nutrients and antioxidants like fiber, protein, vitamin C, vitamin A, potassium, niacin, vitamin E, vitamin K, copper, magnesium, and goes on and on. And peaches are said to contribute to healthy digestion because it does. A medium-sized peach has about 2 grams of fiber. Okay, it is considered to be heart healthy, just like a lot of the other ingredients that we've mentioned in this tea. It's said to lower your risk factors for heart disease, such as high blood pressure, and as well as lowering your cholesterol levels. It is said to could help with your skin's ability to retain moisture. It contains this ingredient called glucosylceramide, which helps to improve water retention as well as your skin permeability function, and it protects against sun damage. So that's why it helps your skin's ability to retain the moisture. Peaches are said to help to prevent against certain types of cancers. And this, I'm saying this because there's a lot of research out there. These are scientifically proven cases that I'm mentioning to you. Go and do the research about peaches. While you're doing the research about peaches, also research apricots, and you'll see the connection and all of the research that's been done as far as those two particular fruits relating to different cancers. One of the things I did mention is that you should always, I know a lot of people like to peel their fruit. A lot of the benefits are in the skin itself. So eat the skin. Eat the skin. That's all I can say. Eat the skin. Peach skin is rich in carotenoids and caffeic acids, 2 antioxidants known to have anti-cancer properties, scientifically proven. based on a lot of studies that have been done. One of the publications is Plant Physiology publication. You can go and look that up. Plant Physiology publication, and you can see all of the studies that have been done relating to that. Peaches are also rich in polyphenols, which have been shown to reduce the growth and limit the spread of certain cancers. However, these tests have been done in test tubes, and there's a lot of research that's still being done as far as humans are concerned, but the studies are being done. Okay, and there's an article in the National Library of Medicine dated July 2014 that you can see all of the research that's being done currently. Again, peaches is another natural antihistamine, just like the orange peels were. It may boost your immunity because of all of the antioxidants that are in there, and may also help to reduce blood sugar levels. So this tea, again, it's like a powerhouse as far as, so many different things. So I can say I really, when I put this thing together, until I sit down and actually do all of the research, all of the studies, it's like, wow. Not to toot my own horn, but I did some good stuff. This is a powerhouse. This tea is really a powerhouse when you look at all of the benefits that you get from all of the different ingredients that are in here. And to be completely transparent, when I'm putting together certain teas, I'm putting them together for one particular benefit. But a lot of these ingredients have so many additional benefits, not just the ones that I'm putting it together for. So now that when I'm looking back at all of these ingredients, this really is a powerhouse of a tea. And lo and behold, look at the day that we're doing this. So if you guys are drinking this tea on 2/22/22, it's good stuff. Okay, so let me stop there and pass it over to you, MJ.
Before, I think there's some comments. Why don't you check the comments first, and then we'll go on.
Yes, Cheryl says 4:44. That was 3 minutes ago, which I completely missed because I was talking too much. Karen also said, and I'm going to wait for MJ to come in because she kicked herself out. Karen also said our first peach. All right, she's back. Karen also said our first peach grew this year. It was amazingly delicious. Isn't fresh peaches amazing? When you can go outside, you can pick your own fruit. Larissa also said 444. Cheryl said, I usually substitute burdock root, but today black tea it is. And you're free to put in the burdock root if that's what you want to do. Because like I said, you don't even have to put black tea in this particular blend. You don't have to. You can just completely omit the black tea and use all of the other ingredients because it's a powerhouse even without the black tea. And Karen says, it's fabulous. I need to make it for my dear uncle. Let me see if I missed anything up here. For caffeine free, could you add rooibos tea instead of black? Absolutely. And you know what? Adding in rooibos tea would kick that chakra, that sacral chakra property way up. Rooibos tea is amazing. It has that nice rich red color. So if you really want to pump up the sacral chakra property, add your rooibos tea. Perfect.
Awesome.
And I think those are all of the.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want to say when we put this tea up, Gina challenged me. She wanted to make it all sacral. So she told me to go through the line of trying to find all the teas that were more relevant to it for the sacral chakra. So in searching for peach, I was like, peach. It kept getting me stuck in Georgia. In every line. And I'm like, peaches are not from Georgia. I'm sorry. I love you, Georgia, but you're not from Georgia. And then we went back and I found that 8,000 year ago where they actually came from. So in magical properties, peaches were known and used by the goddesses Venus, Aphrodite, Freya, and Hathor. They were used for longevity, protection, vitality, and love. All right. They were used in their wands. They carved peach wands out of the wood, and it warded off evil goers, and it kept you safe as you journeyed. All right. They would carve peach pits. They would carve faces and symbols into peach pits, and they would wear them when they were going cross countries
Mhm.
to safe protection.
Yeah.
It was known to ward off evil. Peachwood was carved and sealed into the gateways of castles and all entryways. All right, because it had that protective energy. So look at this. We're talking about this beautiful peach, juicy peach. The wood is extra protected. It has that flavor. It wards off negative energy. It's loving. It's keeping. It's People would use it back in the day. Like I said, it was kept in all ways for protection. So I'm invite you,
Mhm.
if you have a peach tree, take a piece of that stick and make your most amazing wand, because that is what
Mhm.
peach is going to do. So for me, I went looking for a crystal for peach, and this is where I had to really flow through the lines. For me, the crystal that I found that represented peach for what I spiritually would use it for, and that is to give it strength. It promotes vigor, it's steadfast, it's stamina, it's self-confident, it helps you balance,
Mhm.
it banishes its negativity, it helps you with grief, it stimulates wisdom, and it's a decision maker. And for me, that was onyx. Onyx was my
Mhm.
powerhouse for peaches because of all its. When I heard the wand, and
Yeah.
when I started seeing pictures of peach wood and all the carvings, they would use sigils and ruins in it to as protection, I realized how powerhouse this tea was and this peach was. So imagine what you can do with the peach. All right. So I would
Yes.
go and you start using, if you guys have peach trees, start using the wood and send me a piece of wood. I want to make a wand, guys.
Absolutely. And
Please, please.
yeah, Michelle is asking, I've never made or blended like this. How would I know how much of each to mix that would be beneficial?
Great question.
And here's the thing, your intuition will guide you, Michelle. Because, but I will say this, clove, you're not going to want to use too much clove because clove is it's very numbing. That's all I can say. It's a natural anesthetic. So if you put too much clove into your tea, you're going to find that your tongue is going to go numb. You know, it means it's good for oral health, but you don't want to overdo it with the clove. And using too much clove can actually create toxicity in your body. But play around with your blends. Your blend is not going to turn out to be exactly what I have, but it's going to be the blend that's perfect for you and for your needs at the time. So I create teas very intuitively, and that's what I encourage others to do as well. Is to just, you're an intuitive person, right? So just gather your ingredients and let your intuition guide you. Just the only thing I would say is not to overuse the clove. That is the only thing, because you put too much clove in there, you're not going to have a pleasant experience when you're drinking the tea, because your tongue is probably going to be numb, and then you'll start drooling and it won't be pleasant. Cinnamon and clove taste great with, yes. Yes, you know what, Karen, you just give me a great idea. Take this minus the black tea, take all of the other ingredients, blend them blend them up as fine as you can. I mean, if you're working with dried peaches, you can probably grind it up really, really small, but get as close to a powder and add your cacao. Oh my gosh, Karen just said, MJ, cinnamon and clove taste great with cacao as well. But can you
I'm
imagine just
excited.
taking this particular blend? Would be amazing. I am going to try that, Karen. Thank you so much, and I will let you know how that turns out. I have a nice big bag of cacao in there.
Right. And
I'm
all
going to
these
try.
ingredients, how amazing. And you notice, if you weren't healthy, I'm gonna go to the other side. If you weren't healthy and you were on the other, you eat all these, like most of these, majority of these ingredients in pumpkin pie. Every year you're baking pies, you're adding the cloves, you're adding the allspice, you're adding the
Yeah.
oranges. So you're using all these amazing ingredients every in all your spices,
Mhm.
they're in your rack.
Mhm.
So you have everything here. So we're just telling you the most amazing properties that on both sides of that this
Mhm.
one tea can give for you. And in putting that, I wanted to let you know. So in thinking of what crystal would be this overall tea for me, based on the aphrodisiac, the love and the protection and the banding and the sexuality, I thought about what it be. And for for me, it was carnelian. And it's just carnelian. And why? Because carnelian is emotional warmth, it's social, it's creativity, it's memory, it's harmony, it's courage, it's that happiness, it's self-esteem, it's rebirth. The sharpened concentration and this, it dispels melon that melon again. So this is another one. I can't keep saying that word melanarchy.
And
I can't keep saying.
that's what I'm wearing today, my carnelian.
There you go. See? All right. It protects against envy, rage. All right. It calms energy. It repels negativity. It boosts fertility, and it's all about love and sex. This is it. This is about love right here. I mean, look at that. It says it all in itself. So for me, this spicy mama right here was spicy carnelian. That's what I got for her. She is spicy in herself. All right. And
let me go back to the chat. Cheryl says, oh my gosh, that'll be so good. I'm going to try it later too. Talking about adding it to the cacao. And she says, Karen says, my nan added whole cloves to her apple pies. Yes, you can do that. Also, allspice is great added to your apple pies. She said, I add some when cooking corned beef. You know what else is great with corned beef? Allspice. Just a little bit. Add a little bit of allspice already ground to your corned beef. Trust me on that one. Karen also said
roasted pumpkins with allspice. You roast them in the oven and you add sprinkle little allspice on your pumpkins and you eat them. And when I tell you, what? And they're very healthy and good for you because pumpkin in itself is healthy. So,
and here's the thing, back to the pumpkin spice that you mentioned, MJ. Please don't put away your pumpkin spice until the fall. Work with your pumpkin spice all year long. I know people are always talking about when the fall is coming and say, oh, here comes pumpkin spice everything. I'm like, no, pumpkin spice everything has been around for me for the whole year. Because it's such a powerful blend, and a lot of people don't realize that. When you look at the ingredients, you should be working with pumpkin spice all year long, not just in the fall. Karen also said ground turmeric and black pepper is delicious with the cacao, cinnamon. I've done that. Yes, I can attest to that, Karen.
I have too, so I'm with you.
Yes. So that is your spiced black peach tea. You do not have to add in the black tea if you do not want. You can simply ignore that and add, cacao or whatever other, the rooibos tea. Entirely up to you. But this is what it looks like, the blend that I have. All right.
That's amazing. And I'm going to pull a card for us because it's 2-2 and it's 5-5-5 here at my time. So I'm pulling from the Kuan Yin deck, and the Kuan Yin card that I got today on this very special day says abundance blessing. Your concerns are felt in my heart. Any and all problems, the material and the spiritual, are within the realm of my interest and my power to resolve. Be peaceful. My blessings are with you. That's from Kuan Yin. And so it is.
That's perfect.
It's great for this beautiful day.
Well, I'm going to take a sip to that.
Yes, thank you guys for joining us for this amazing tea talk. And remember that there's magic in that tea.
Absolutely. We're approaching almost an hour and a half. This has been amazing. I know I don't like to keep MJ too long because I know she has other stuff to go and do, but this has been an amazing show, an amazing episode. Thank you so much for the interaction in the chat. This is what we want. We want people to interact with us, right? So this has been really good. Let us know if you experimented with this blend, because I'm going to do it now that I heard the cacao part. I'm going to go and play again because I love to be able to play around with all the blends I've already made and see what happens with your suggestions. So I will post those in the group. If we are in the group together, you'll see those.
Hold on, I want to say one thing. And just because this tea, you're blending, remember you're blending herbs. So if you have a little left over, take a nice little candle and then add some jojoba oil or some carrier oil on it and make the candle. It is going to be such an amazing candle. The benefits alone are going to be beneficial. So I would always take a little and candle magic, guys. It's the best thing.
Yeah.
So on my
I
end,
added,
thank you.
yeah, one more thing. This is a little bit of the tea that we just talked about, and then a little bit of the leftover of the oil that I made earlier that I just topped on this
Amazing.
candle, and that'll be lit. So thank you guys. Thanks to everybody who showed up. The replay is going to be available. Thank you
We
again.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you again, MJ. As
Thank you,
always.
Gina.
You're the
I
best.
love you. Have a good night, guys. Take care.
You too. Bye, everybody.